Hello and welcome back to Clutch versus TSM. As we get ready for game 2, let us know what you think about the LCS and these guys. Take the survey and you can win an official LCS chair. Learn more at riot.com/LCS fans. Those chairs are pretty sweet. Amazing.
How many beard questions are there on the survey?
Not enough, obviously. There are 3 right here. And that's how many games it takes to win the regional qualifier. And TSM already has one so far. Clutch Gaming definitely looking like they are fighting with a lot of heart in this game. This series easily still anybody's with the amount of pressure we saw coming from both teams in game 1.
Yeah, it was a super exciting game number 1 there. Clutch continually finding engages for themselves. I think we'll have some adjustments in the draft, though. It'll be interesting because Clutch doesn't really want to play or have any history of playing Sona, Tom Kent style bottom lanes. I wonder if they think it was that big of a deal that we'll see them actually spend ban value on that, or if they're fine to play around it.
Yeah, it's hard to know where their head is at with that. My personal opinion is they just didn't execute around the Rift Herald. That they played that out very poorly at the Rift Herald. They got punished very heavily for that. Not only did they lose a bunch of kills, they lost the Rift, they lost first turret. So that is where a lot of the game was decided for me. So if I was on the Clutch side, I wouldn't be as worried, but we're into picks and bans, and Sona is banned out first, so they are certainly concerned about it.
Question answered.
This is great. Let's ask a few more. Maybe they got us on lock here. So we will probably see that Rumble to Kiana at some point, as well as a few other champions like the Skarner coming in for those Clutch bans against them, as we see what TSM has left.
When you are on the red side, though, it's a lot more difficult to actually kind of ban out in the same way. Wow, we actually saw Yuumi ban on blue side. I was just about to say, you almost always have to red side ban Yuumi. Clutch clearly not willing to pick it. So that is going to be a blue side ban, but they will get the GP, as that is the change up here. Akali not going to go through picks and bans.
Yeah, insta-locked here. Immediately, Huni is the one with the first pick.
Broken blade.
I like it.
I think
Beamer forever.
That's just the hover. I would be very surprised to get it, but it would be exciting to actually see that come in. Kled, something that has been very popular, can be pretty strong against GP, especially in the early levels if you want to go aggressive. Sejuani, though, tried and true here for Spica, will be the tank jungler coming out for TSM.
I wonder if TSM would be willing to go back to the Kled, because they did use it the first 2 games of their last series versus Clutch and lost both of them. Sometimes you get a little bit traumatized.
Yes, I'm still looking at that Xayah as it was hovered on there first. So Xayah still feeling comfortable giving Zven something he wants, but also taking a little bit of something away from Cody Sun.
Honestly, would love a Caitlyn Morgana here. I think that, Morgana is so good into Sejuani, is great as an answer into potential Xayah Rakan. Instead, they're just going to take away the Rakan and go for Xayah. This is something that they did a lot throughout playoffs. That Xayah priority for Cody Sun quite high. And traditionally, we have seen him playing it with the cleanse when he is going into these CC-heavy comps, but it is always surprising to me to see how successful Caitlyn Morgana will be and then how often it's actually passed up.
And I wonder where really the front line for Clutch is going to come from, because Skarner's banned out, Sejuani's already taken, they have Gangplank in the top lane, and Rakan can get the initiations off, but even with the stat buffs, he's still fairly squishy champion.
Probably not. They're probably just not going to have frontline. I mean, just like last game, right? They didn't actually draft for really much of any frontline. There is still the possibility of going to a tank jungler, going to the Trundle, but it largely has been ignored throughout playoffs. We saw that that Sylas was higher priority for them, but TSM would have the ability to actually take that as their next pick on red side, even if they don't ban it out here, so there's no guarantee that Clutch will get it.
Yeah, and meanwhile, TSM stock is very high on tanks here, Sejuani and the Nautilus, so they have plenty of teamfight CC, plenty of front-to-back options. This is kind of what people were looking at for TSM. Keep it simple with, group as 5 style teams, and that's already what they've set up.
And it's such good engage, right? Anytime you have the Nautilus, you have the guaranteed point-and-click ultimate there. So Sylas not going to be banned out here by TSM, but again, they could actually grab it, if they are concerned about Lira taking this away, because there are some pretty key ultimates for TSM you can already steal here. You saw that Sejuani Sylas matchup last game around, but Nautilus has a fantastic ultimate to be actually stolen there by Lira as well if he did want to go back to the pick.
And there's the adjustment the analyst desk was talking about. They banned out the Corki and Azir, trying to deny that. But yeah, I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal for TSM. They've got their front line set. They have Xayah behind. And Sylas will be taken away.
That is just about every one of Lira's junglers so far, from the Skarner, the Gragas, the Jarvan, the Sylas as well. They are trying to give Spica a much better time in the jungle against Lira, or what he can do in the early part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Lira, the remaining picks he has are only a couple of plays, right? He has 2 Rek'Sai plays, 2 Lee Sin plays.
There it is.
It will be the Elise. So actually, first time he's brought out the Elise
Exactly.
thus far. And this is one of those early game champions. So you've got to pair it with something aggressive, and it will be paired alongside that Irelia.
Elise doesn't have a great ultimate for Sylas to seal, so there's one for you. But it's going to be a lot of pressure on Lira. We have seen Clutch with the most success when he is on this Skarner, right? You build your Predator, you go in, you ult one person for the team, you pick him off. But Elise has to create lots of plays for the team, especially when you're running full offense like this. You have to get the Irelia some money. You have to get the Gangplank some money, to be able to get a lot of these kills cross-map. We'll see how active Lira can be. Should be able to outpace Sejuani.
See what the comps are. Left side, we said Damonte and the rest of the team want to fight. You see his Irelia sometimes get him into a little bit of trouble. It's not the exact same power as his Qiyana, but he can make the impact plays. The one thing I do love about when Clutch switches up to the Xayah Cody Sun is we see him doing exactly what Huni was doing last game. Cody Sun's usually the first one in the fight with Killer Instinct, and everybody following up, so it really changes the dynamic, and I'm sure TSM knows that's going to happen, because it already looks like within the first game, they've done their homework to figure out how Clutch is going to play this regional qualifier final out.
And Clutch certainly has the ability to play heavily towards bottom side. GP ultimate drop down there, post 6, bring down the Elise, bring down the Irelia, try to make something happen on that side of the map. When you're looking at Bjergsen and key ultimates for him to steal, there's really not a lot. The only kind of really good ultimate, it feels like, is perhaps a GP. Rakan can be effective at times, but definitely the Irelia, you're not getting much out of that ultimate. You're not getting much out of the Elise ultimate. So there's not really huge impacts ones for him to steal.
We're about to head into game 2. That Sona Tom Kench allowing TSM to really take the fights in game 1 with the sustain, with the continued barrages of attacks against Clutch, and it did find them the Nexus. Will TSM get their revenge? Will TSM get themselves back to Worlds? We still got another 2 games to go, but they have the momentum coming into game 2.
They definitely have the momentum, and I honestly think they have set themselves up so well in the draft. There's a lot of pressure, as Kobe was talking about, on Lira, right? To be able to get something done on a champion that he has not yet played this split or in the playoffs is quite a task for him to undertake.
And we do have Amelie May with Coach Artemis of Clutch for a sideline report.
30 seconds until
Thanks, guys. Artemis, first question I have for you on game 1. Tell me, what was your plan with the Pantheon, and were you satisfied with that performance? Because that was a pick that came as a surprise to most.
Well, they put a lot of resources into banning out Huni in the draft, so Pantheon was down on our list of priority picks, but a fine matchup into Jace. And overall, the strategy was to play fast and loose and aggressive early, get a lead through Rift, and snowball the game. And if we didn't make that first mistake around Rift Herald, I think the game is different. And even with that, I thought we played really well from behind, actually, and it was TSM feeling the pressure that game. So we're feeling really confident right now. We felt like we learned a lot from their draft and understand their priorities, so we should be fine.
And this is the first best of 5 this week where Clutch Gaming has dropped the first game. So has that shaken up the team at all?
No, like I said, I think if anything, we're more confident after losing than we were going into this series. Like, TSM just didn't really play well at all in that win. Like, they gave us so many chances to win, and with that composition, it should be pretty straightforward for them to win, and even still, we found good flanks, so I'm pretty confident that we'll take this series.
Enjoy the confidence. Best of luck to you, and back to you guys.
And hopefully confidence doesn't come back to bite them. That's exactly what Damonte said last time, is we were too confident coming into that when we were up against Team Liquid. But here, being behind may reset that mentality a little bit in a different form of confidence.
Yeah, sometimes it can be difficult if you get more confident after losing. It's a bad pattern to get into. In the middle lane, though, Damonte here on the Irelia. It's definitely a champion he's super confident on. We'll see if there are any early visits, because currently it is Lira going Krugs after red, so he might go for the very quick level 3 into a visit there. Attack Bjergsen at kind of the heart of TSM.
Yeah, you can see he actually took a path and wrapped it back down around. So in case there was any ward at the Raptors, he would have avoided that. He actually goes a little bit of a longer route there. But there's no ward, so it doesn't end up paying any dividends. confidence.
And he's actually not going for just the fast level 3 for that or double buffs, because you can get level 3 off of just 3 camps if you include Krugs as one of your camps, but he still does Wolves. So he's doing a bit longer of a clear here for Elise, which means Spica is the first one out to the gank path.
Level 3's mid, he gets him, but it's gonna be under the turret, has to be careful. No stun there for the flawless duet onto Bjergsen, but Spica is seen, so now Lira has an idea of where he is.
Yeah, and he can just return here and help Bjergsen actually push this in. Bjergsen will get a preferential reset. This is going to be pretty nice for them. They're actually bringing Smoothie up as well, as there's a potential 3-man dive here coming in. They got this push, and Damonte's probably dead to rights.
TSM behind the turret, gonna dodge that one out. Anchor toss against the wall, Ignite goes down, just an auto attack to come in. Damonte back and forth. Oh my god, but he's gonna walk into the auto, he has to. Giving it to the support, a very smart play, as the result had to be his death. And now they're gonna take it to kill. Turret shot doesn't aggro enough, and it's not a hit for Lira Huni, but Bjergsen is here on the top side now. Abscond, abduct himself into position. This is gonna be the teleport now coming in from the other side of the map, and Damonte's here to help as well. A 3v2 on the top side. Lira a sliver from going down. Smoothie's all the way from the bot lane, coast to coast. And he comes up with his second kill of the game. Now Damonte's gonna go down as Spica runs himself to safety. What in the hell is this game number 2?
That was all TSM! Look at this, they push the wave quicker, they go for the dive they were talking about. This could have gone badly. Damonte is so low though, that all they have to do is touch him basically. The Ignite does pretty much all the work, and then they can move from that mid lane to this top botched dive that Clutch pulled off here. They get so low here under the turret, both of them flashing. TSM know they've got them cornered, and then with Damonte teleporting in, they know that this is actually just another kill, because Bjergsen teleports up to the top, they close through with the pincers.
Yeah, and the problem here was that there was always going to be the extra members coming in for TSM. Smoothie just roams straight from mid to top. And, you know, it's a full health Sejuani. 2 of your members are so low in this play, so Damonte trying to support his team.
Broken
They're going back
blade.
to the top side.
Oh boy, he just finds a handful of Clutch Gaming in his lane as we come out of the replay, and this one is not gonna stop.
Yeah, and that's actually really big for a Clutch to get back into this, because TSM now has no TP on Broken Blade, so he's going to have to make the long walk back to top. And Huni's actually holding the wave. So multiple waves are going to get denied. He's going to be potentially losing some experience here, you know, as well as that farm. So this does give an avenue for Huni to get a pretty significant lead through which Clutch could try to play.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be, if Clutch finds success, a Huni carry story. Right now, TSM looking to affect the other side of the map as Spica finds Cody.
Smoothie looking for some more kills with his team. This is a Nautilus ready for the kills. Bjergsen here wants to finish off a few for himself. Cody Sun a few shots back. They rip the rug right out from under him, and that's a great kill for Zven. Lira tries to get himself to safety there, and they're not able to trade a kill back. Vulcan, the rest of the team, Spica almost going down there. The rest of the team in the can.
Oh, it's stuck to the edge!
Turret, the minions are there. He should be able to get the wall. The execute comes in from Lira. What is this? Now he gets himself a little too far forward for the greed of that kill, picks it up, but goes down himself, as these plates in the bottom lane are now going to get picked up for even more gold on the side of TSM. Damonte looking top, but Broken Blade a little too close to the turret without Huni's help, and no mana there.
And Bjergsen, Secret Agent Man, 007, 100% KP, roaming down to that bottom side. TSM make the move here. Surprised that Cody Sun didn't just early flash. He allowed Sejuani to actually stack up the passive for free, then flashes after the stun, but he's too low, so he's always going to go down. That was just summoner greed, as Spica with a great flail there to knock him down, but Cody should have just early flash healed and he would have been able to walk out no problem.
Yeah, he wanted to save the summoner there, a little bit of greed. Here, Lira does answer the one kill. That is going to be the continued dive for TSM, because they know that all the other resources for Clutch are elsewhere on the map, and it's going to be turret plates for them afterwards. This is ballooning into a very big lead for TSM.
Yeah.
Almost 2K for them thus far. And as we were kind of going over earlier, if Clutch finds success, it has to be a Huni carry story in this game for the Gangplank, because that is the only area that has found success in all of this chaos.
Awesome to see as well. Multiple styles of play coming out here. A little bit longer for first blood in game 1, and here we are just throwing down immediately. And TSM is responding, a team that we expect to kind of wait until the mid game, the late game. Let Sejuani get 6. Not this time around. Smoothie was up into the mid lane for that game. Onto Damonte very, very early, so definitely setting the pace here. in a different form for TSM. 2K gold lead as they look mid once again. The omnipresent Smoothie about to mix another one up.
Yeah, Smoothie has done a very good job making his presence felt across the map. The early roam is what started that dive and started this cascade of pressure for TSM all across the map. It's because Smoothie on the support got out there roaming to start the plays early, and Zven on Xayah is actually still far ahead in gold because of all these resulting kills that he has over Cody Sun now. Every lane ahead in gold for TSM except for the top side.
You can see those gold values right now, how big the coffers for everyone are. And Spica slowly moving. It looks like they want to tag onto this bot lane once again.
Yeah, I mean, this is level 6 for Bjergsen and Spica here. They're going in.
Oh, it's going to be a hit as well onto Cody Sun. He should go down first as they have the Rakan just on the other side. And that is going to be Vulcan trying to make his way wrong side of the map, but he's still going to try to do it. Who will get this kill? It looks like Bjergsen picks up another one for himself. His first kill.
No.
Nicely
He ruined his
done.
full assist score. No!
Not a team
1-0.
player. Taking the kills.
So greedy. All right, that is going to be an objective for the team, though. This is actually out of control now.
Yeah.
TSM returning to that weak spot of Clutch. They know that Huni is the only strong one on the team, so they just don't fight topside. They continue to dive this bottom half of the map. No summoner spells this time around makes it so easy to clean up.
It really does, and it's feeling kind of like Spring TSM when they were being so much more effective with these flex pick solo laners roaming to the side lanes, utilizing advantages in their solo lanes to then kind of spread across the map. And we have seen Bjergsen and Spica, teaming up multiple times to go down to that bottom side to expand the lead that TSM has down there. And this is a proactive TSM that you can get excited about. They're really able to snowball this lead thus far, so we have to now kind of watch and track. Are they going to be able to continue to grow this lead? Are they going to be able to stay proactive throughout these next 5-10 minutes?
Exactly. We need to track them, and Clutch needs to track them as well if they want to get back in this game. Smoothie with those mobility boots on Nautilus is very difficult. He keeps on moving up the river. As you see here, they've got control wards everywhere. The Cloud Drake even enhances this. Very big out-of-combat move speed from this buff. Everyone wants to focus on the in-combat because they love fighting, but it actually makes a lot more of these rotations, a lot more of these plays that TSM are pulling off up and down the river more viable with every member now having that out-of-combat move speed in. Who's here once again? Full TSM on the Rift Herald. They're going to take it before Clutch even get to set up.
Yeah, there's no opportunity for Clutch to even try to challenge. You're too far behind in gold, so TSM just preempts the play. Huni's trying to get some plates back here with some gold on the bottom side, and Elise is behind Bjergsen, so there is a possibility of a 3-man play here.
Safety for Huni there after he throws on the Cannon Barrage, and Bjergsen knows there's going to be a bit of a fight around him. It's a little too quiet. He does have Cannon Barrage for himself, because the rest of the team is holding lanes. Great job with the focus bot for TSM to throw the Rift Herald top. This should be quite a few plays.
And Bjergsen just actually drops the Cannon Barrage on the bottom turret, so he's even going to protect the plates from Huni, guaranteeing them that first turret on the top side and extending this lead even further. So pretty clever usage of that stolen ultimate, and TSM looking really, really good in these first 11 minutes.
Exactly, because they cut off the only kind of answer that Clutch could have. Clutch were not in a position to fight objective for objective, so they want to trade them. But with that play, denying the possible trade, and you just get ripped off.
Well, we'll see how much they can get their hands into the pockets of Clutch a little bit more. Bjergsen back to mid, 78-93. All this roaming has taken them away from the CS a little bit, but they've been able to fill that KDA quite nicely and get about a 4,000 gold lead to start things off here. Much bigger than game one, and like we said, they use that momentum. Bjergsen now going to be face-checking Lira. Shouldn't be too much of a result here. That was going to be a back, so it takes him a second to realize get that Kingslayer health back before he's off to safety.
Yeah, there's no chance that Elise wins that 1v1 ever. Elise's damage all front-loaded there. You cocoon, you get your big combo off, turn into Spider, get your execute, and you just get him to half health. But then Sylas is all backloaded because he's got Kingslayer heal. So you have to get your little chip damage off and then run away. Very hard to play Elise in these sort of situations where the entire team is behind. It makes the champion look like much less of an effective jungle, but it's because the situation that Clutch are in right now. Trying to get something back on top side, though. They send their duo up here to get some turret plates.
I do really like what TSM is doing here now to kind of protect their laner against Huni. Huni is the only strong member, and they're looking to set up a dive here in this
Deja
mid lane.
vu. The same as the level 1.
Yeah, I mean, Damonte just getting pushed out again, but you know, they've been able to actually take the time to get all these wards down here, you know, on the bottom side that are going to allow Broken Blade to feel comfortable farming it out against Huni and trying to equalize somewhat, you know, to not allow that to snowball out of control, because really that's the only way Clutch can actually do anything in this game. And if Huni is warded out, if he is actually held down, well, everywhere else on the map, TSM is stronger.
We heard Artemis saying the idea of that first game was to get Rift Herald, continue to push on, and it seems like if any of the things fall apart in their schedule of what needs to happen each game, it definitely has a hindrance on them coming back. Now, as Artemis said, and we saw, game 1 was not just Clutch falling over after they missed that first Rift Herald, but it does become harder, and I think TSM is starting to smell blood that much more each time they get those advantages, and we're now seeing a TSM that is really pressuring down once they realize they have an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, even if we focus on the early jungle paths, Sejuani ganks before Elise. And that starts the roam up from Smoothie, then they continue it with the dive. It's a very good job of TSM kind of taking control early, whereas Clutch were supposed to be the ones to get on the attack. Here we go, though. They've got defensive control wards now throughout everywhere in their own jungle, so they should be able to see the onslaught coming. The problem now is that they're so far behind in gold, they don't really have the items to fight them off. So even if you have the information, executing that play is so much more difficult. And with an Infernal spawning, that is ideal for TSM to continue to snowball this. They have easy control of all neutrals in the game.
Good pick up here for TSM. Going to be fantastic damage to add to these fights. They feel great going against Clutch Gaming.
Yeah, and we see that Clutch, again, just trying to trade objectives, you know, taking that top lane turret with the Irelia split push, trying to get some gold desperately in the hands of Damonte, who is, you know, very, very far behind as far as his progression. Really wants to get that Triforce to be able to have any sort of relevance, and then we'll see at what point Clutch actually tries to start looking for plays. You know, with double Triforce now in, and perhaps they can try to look for something around that, but they are, you know, woefully kind of behind TSM as far as item progression.
It's hard to get a hold of any of these members. You have a ton of tanks guarding Zven. He can Feather Storm out, and the rest of the front line is just going to be a whole lot of HP that you have to get through. Being behind makes Clutch just have to farm these waves out, prep them, and get prepared for the one fight that they can take.
Yeah, they've got to at least wait for their sweeper to come off cooldown, because Lira cannot afford to go for one of these risky offensive plays, these ganks, and have it matched by TSM numbers. So they have to either have control ward pass set up or use their sweepers on the way in to make sure that their opportunity will be a numbers advantage. And now they're using it bottom. They're trying to get everybody down there, but TSM already have left the area. They went to the strong side.
Whoa, Damonte Vanguard's edge comes out, but it's also stolen and used against him. He can still dash around, but he goes down. A valiant attempt there to stay alive. This bot's going to be traded for a bit of that top lane damage. It looks like they will grab a second tier. Clutch is starting to still focus bot, but push more towards mid to stop another turret from going down.
Yeah, the Cannon Barrage from Huni delayed it a little bit. You know, was a pretty good attempt there, but Clutch are able to defend that mid lane turret at least. That is pretty key. As Huni is pushing this tier 2, he should get this. So, you know, they will be able to get the 2 turrets down, which is quite nice for them. It is the kill and a turret for TSM, and as long as Clutch can keep that mid lane turret alive, that does give them kind of more of this kind of area of safety where they can try to continue farming on this Xayah.
Seeing how far Lira was pushed back in his jungle picks. Definitely doing quite well on the Elise for that fact. Everybody else having a real tough time in the run around of the early game. You can see 0-3, 0-0, 2-0 almost in the bottom half of the map. And TSM really mobilized themselves to make this a difficult game for Clutch.
All right, so next steps. If you have this amount of control as the TSM squad facing Clutch, and they have so much pick potential with Nautilus, with Sejuani, all they have to do is close in with these wards. There are no outer defenses left. Clutch basically have to tower hug at the moment. So TSM are trying to get their side lanes pushed up so they can then swarm into the jungle, and you lay the pathways through the jungle that Clutch rotate through with wards, so then they can't mount that counter attack.
And I think with the Infernal being the next dragon coming up, you know, TSM that should be their kind of focus on the map right now. You know, get those wards on the bottom side, look to focus in this area. As Spica likely can just smite this away, but you know, grab that next Infernal. Baron will be up shortly after that, and they have their next like 3-4 minutes mapped out pretty cleanly. You take the second Infernal, you look to set up around the Baron, and that is where you try to actually draw Clutch in and turn for fights. Because you have the Nautilus, you have the Sejuani, it's very easy point and click engage here for TSM.
Yeah, some ideal places for the wards when setting up for that are right here through the jungle. Because there isn't going to be a lot of threat on the top side. Well, let's just watch this chase for Damonte. How long can he go?
What is the rest of the team doing? Vanguard's edge is there. Going to be no stun here from Zven. And in, out. Tries to get that flawless duet charge on, but he cannot. But they're getting the ultimates out as well. Hopefully this fight can happen in favor of Clutch Gaming with those going down is what they're thinking. But quickly losing Damonte and no real pressure on the map is not what they need right now.
Yeah, definitely not. And I actually like the choice to use Nautilus Ultimate there because it prevents Zven from having to use his own. I think that is going to be kind of the more important one, protecting your AD, who's so strong at this point in the game. Already has the Essence Reaver, already has that IE completed. You know, and he is just so far ahead of Cody Sun right now. You know, it is 2,600 gold. And Lira was feeling optimistic.
They're all in.
He's got the Magi by.
I love seeing that.
If you're going to make a comeback, then you got to make a big comeback. Stack that Magi's up.
It doesn't even have one page in there, Kobe. There's no stacks.
That's why you got to write the story right now. The final chapters here in this regional final series. Oh my word. He is definitely throwing all of his eggs in one basket. We'll see how it works. Pushed all the way down to Elise, but he's still going to try to make it happen. TSM have a fantastic lead right now, looking at about 4,000 gold.
Yeah.
4 turrets to 3. Now they're going to be on to the Infernal Drake. Second one to their name, all objectives so far in the game over to TSM as they fully control game 2.
Easily smited away there by Spica, and now it's time. They can move their vision up to the top half because they've taken the Infernal Dragon up. So basically it's very leisurely walk now for TSM. They can get the full reset off, move all their vision over to the soon to arrive Baron. And even though Clutch are trying to get the early vision down, it's very difficult for them if TSM come in force, grouped up, to actually fight them off and defend that vision. One thing to place your vision, but to be able to defend it requires so much more, and they just don't have the completed items.
Yeah, they're just hoping that this is going to buy them a little bit of time here, a little bit of time there. Maybe Huni can make a play in a side lane, buy them that couple extra minutes. But, when you're in the lead and you just keep rolling Infernal Dragons, it feels so doomed for the other team, right? Another Infernal is going to come up in 4 minutes. So even if TSM are slow to the Baron and unable to take it, during that time, they have such an easy window to get another advantage. And Clutch at some point is going to have to make the call that they can't give it up.
Yeah, and like I was talking about, vision undefended here. So they just spent a bunch of control wards. They just spent a bunch of time getting vision over Baron. But they all leave the area. They can't defend it. So that vision doesn't do anything except alert them. TSM are taking the Baron. They can't do anything about it. That sucker is gone.
Uncontested, unheard of for a regional qualifier. Definitely not something you want your opponent doing. All of Clutch Gaming coordinating towards the bottom side of the map, with that being up at 21 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest, I think this game is over. I think this game is completely over. Like, Clutch have almost no way to come back in it. TSM have such strong engage, such an enormous lead, double Infernal, Baron. The game is completely in their hands, and now I just want to see, can you close out this game cleanly? Because that is something we should expect of a team at this level with this sort of advantage. This is the kind of advantage that you can just win the game on your first Baron.
See where they take it. Already have those minions coming down mid. Broken Blade is bringing up the rear on the bot side of the map. And Damonte is doing what he can to keep the top wave out of Clutch's base. But TSM is making quick work
gonna
of
chase
any
them?
wards and whatnot through here. Gets the dredge line on him. And it looks like they're going to be able to get the rest of these kills. And a little bit of a dance there. Flashes up. They're both going to flash for him. TSM's feeling real good right now here in game 2.
I mean, and why not? They are crushing Clutch right now. Clutch took them down 3-1, knocking them out of playoffs. having this great run
about making
through the
a statement.
gauntlet, back-to-back series wins, feeling so confident, and TSM are just smacking them down.
Yeah, I mean, reverse sweeps never happen. How likely is that to ever
Oh,
occur
you
in
got some
NA?
angry TSM fans now.
Honestly, though, Baron buff for TSM. You're talking about clean win. They picked off the Irelia. They're taking down the inhibitor turret on top side, and they should be able to end it with this Baron buff.
And Huni looks like he's losing that HP war on the top left of your screen as he fights Broken Blade on the bottom side of the map. They are going to be able to get that top inhibitor, and bottom second tier is almost down as well. TSM is making very quick work of everything on the map, including the Clutch Gaming members.
Yeah, and I mean, Bjergsen had already been pushing up mid lane. It's not even like they need
Oh!
5-man strong. They're going for Broken Blade.
Broken Blade, a little bit duller after that play, and it looks like they will try to get into more onto Huni and to Vulcan. Possibly a re-engage here if he gets the grand entrance back. Oh, they're right onto Huni over the wall. They still have a few flashes left. And of course, TSM is going to use those at this point. Huni gets out alive. Flawless duet, stopping up Bjergsen. But that's just a charge that Damonte was able to use. He's kind of left out to dry right now until his abilities come back. Lira just off on the side here. And they're really just playing a game of cat and mouse. But TSM is one big cat right now. And Clutch has to let these structures go.
Yeah, as soon as TSM was able to group back up there, they get Zven back with the team. There's no way you can really contest that anymore as Clutch. Zven is so incredibly strong, so they will reset, but they still have 50 seconds on this Baron buff here, and Broken Blade is back up, so they could look to try to get another inhibitor tower if they want. Clutch, though, good pick, does buy them some time and keeps them alive in the game for now.
Now 40 seconds left on the Baron buff. I don't think TSM will be able to get up to the base in that time. Only one more minion wave going to spawn after it that they could possibly use. So they are going to get a reset. Plenty of gold to spend here for TSM. They can get right back out onto the map for another Infernal. All three of them will be collected. You can only have 3 of the same type, so maximum fire damage here for TSM.
I like that. Does a third Infernal have an accent? Okay.
Whenever I talk about
Or
dragon stats that
proper.
are useless, I channel some Trevor Quickshot Henry.
Was that your quick shot right there?
Now we have to know how many they've taken over the course of 8-year period.
Yeah, exactly.
12-4, coming up on 25 minutes. There have been a few kills that Clutch is able to find, but it's not before the Lira got that Magi, so he still has no pages there. And it's only 1 to Vulcan after that, and Huni. Huni's been doing a bit of work on the side lanes, but now he's kind of restricted to never crossing the river. It just gets too dangerous until Clutch can start to leave their base safely.
Yeah, I mean, Huni has a huge lead, right? But it
does.
It's not enough that it really matters, and Gangplank isn't really that sort of champion where you can just impose your will and dive someone 1v1 and kill them off. It's much more of a slow burn and assisting your team from the side lanes with your ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you're like, theoretically, like, it can be a 1v5 champion if you have other bodies at least to throw in front of him. If you have tanky members, you can be like, hey, go sacrifice yourself. I'll get a big barrel chain.
Get in there, bud.
Yeah, I'll crit people, but they don't have, a lot of meat to throw in front of the Gangplank to actually buy time for Huni to do damage. Everybody's so squishy here, so it has to be surprise factors if they're gonna pull out any sort of crazy comeback.
Lira as well with the sorcery potion, feeling a few of these fights could be the last. That's quite a bit of money as those went up a long time ago in cash to be thrown into a few recipe items before you had your cores.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense at this point. You're so
For sure.
desperately behind, right? You need as much oomph as you can get in that one team fight to just pray you can get an instant kill right at the start and snowball a fight like that. You know, I mean, if you can get a pick somehow on Zven, I don't really know realistically how you're going to be able to do that unless he messes up. But, you know, if you can take someone like that out of the fight immediately, then you have a chance. So that is the hope for Clutch, and they're going to need an incredible engage from Vulcan alongside great follow-up from the rest of the team to stand any chance at doing that. But it feels like TSM just wants to play it slow, wants to play it safe. They're going to wait for the next Baron, and I don't think they're going to, make any risks happen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, TSM, they were denied a place in Detroit. Well, they're going to ult here. Let's see what they do with it. Huni Gets out of Infernal Change. Lira not so lucky.
Gets his flash, though. Slow tagging the members of Clutch Gaming here for what is going to be a follow-up fight. Broken Blade very close to going down. What a knockup coming in from Smoothie. That's going to stop it and keep Broken Blade live for just a little bit longer, but both members are now going down. Vulcan and Cody Sun not even really able to get into the fight just yet, but here they can see the members. They can clean up with TSM. Is it going to happen, though? Bjergsen looking at 2v1 by himself as Lira finds a way back into the fight. It looks like Clutch Gaming got really scattered once they had a chance to attack TSM.
Yeah, TSM tried to force there, and Clutch do punish. It is just the 2-for-2, but still, TSM had it easy into the Baron. They try to force here on Huni, and Huni is able to fight his way out of this one.
I had a red alert going off here, Azale, because Baron's about to spawn when they go for this play. This is very risky. Broken Blade does go down even after the flash burns to Huni, and then Cody Sun goes for the initiation there with the Xayah right back, off of Damonte. They chase him down. Bjergsen, some heroics here at the end though. He targets the support, goes in, bursts down Vulcan, and he's gonna answer that so that Clutch don't get to gain control of the map or anything. But that was flirting with the throw.
Yeah, that really was, and credit to Vulcan for capitalizing on that. Finding the engage onto Zven, allowing Cody Sun to have that in with the killer instinct. That was absolutely huge. But I mean, TSM is funneling down into the cannon barrage, the GP ultimate, trying to take him down. And that's not a play you need to make. You can force Clutch to come to you at that Baron where you have all the vision already.
You were just saying, don't think they're going to do anything too risky and instantly throw themselves into a full fight.
All right, they still have a crazy gold lead with 3 Infernals stacked up, so TSM should be able to still burn this Baron down. Let's see if this goes to plan.
Smoothie. Looking for where Lira is. He's all the way in the back. Baron's down to 5,000 HP, but they're still going to try to get the kill onto Smoothie. They are successful. Clutch Gaming now feeling good about taking position on the Baron, but they are going to be getting that damage reduction. Huni's the one in the front.
Lira's so low, though.
Damonte and Huni tanking. Bjergsen from the back. Vanguard's heads misses. And now they're going to be trying to get back in the fight. Lira goes down. No smite there. And Spica can get back in to help the team if they get back on the Baron, but it's all about the fight right now. Everybody's joining in that pathway in the jungle, but now instantly stepping out. It was just for a high five from both teams to say, great job at Baron.
My heart is definitely pumping here.
My word.
Clutch opting to get in and leash the Baron there, keep aggro, because Huni was looking for barrel chains over the wall. They're gonna leash it once again. TSM return to the Baron.
Scryer's Bloom. Can they get this kill? 8,400 onto Baron. Bjergsen just on the right side. Doesn't have an ultimate to steal, and he's going to go into Huni first as Huni tries to fight back with red buff on. Huni and Bjergsen the 1v1, and that's going to be a shutdown for the big man in the top lane. Now Vulcan, a few shots from going away. Does he get the heal? Does he get the help? And he keeps himself alive. A sliver for Clutch, and that's all they needed to take down TSM.
Cody Sun wipes him off the map. TSM go right back for it. Clutch is so low, though. This is very, very risky here.
It should be fine. Lira is available, and Smoothie's the only one on TSM. So it's honestly a miracle if,
That's a lot of damage.
Lira steals it. Cody Sun can tank it right now on the Xayah. Lira has arrived. They should have it.
Wow. This one finally calms down. Clutch Gaming. This is where game 1 went awry when TSM had the Sona. No sustain this time, and the long fight goes in favor of Clutch.
I mean, why are they forcing so hard? I just don't understand it. Wait, set up your vision, look for the correct plays. Zven doesn't have flash or ultimate, and he's just abandoned in the pit with the Baron hitting him.
Yeah, and Huni out there, because Zven is in the pit, he gets some 1v1 time with Bjergsen, takes down one of the biggest threats. Broken Blade finally gets the answer there, but it is Clutch that are gonna walk away with it. And Huni's like, you know what? I was the only one with money on my team. Now he's been able to do his duty. We'll see what Clutch can actually fight back into this game. Baron buff, they've almost evened up the gold. They've got right back into it. Infernal Dragon's still in TSM's pocket, so that extra multiplier is there. But how much can the Clutch actually get, since there are standing outer turrets for them to take down with this Baron?
I mean, they have the ability to get a lot of damage done here with this. They're going to knock down the first mid-outer. Very likely going to be able to grab the second here as well. And Cody Sun picking up more and more of those items. Damonte is becoming relevant as well. He has his GA, he has 3 items. Huni is massive. And this is kind of getting pretty scary for TSM.
The other thing is, in Champ Select, we were highlighting a lot of these tanks for TSM because it is very beneficial for team fights early and mid, but tanks eventually get outscaled by full damage. And Clutch are closing in with the Baron buff. No defense here from TSM, so more gold into their pockets.
What an influx they just had. They've also been able to spend quite a bit. Huni, the richest
Bjergsen.
one in the game, on the front line. Broken Blade throws down the ultimate, but World Ender, is it going to be enough? Vanguards as does click. That was going to be from the Sylas, but nobody followed up expecting it to happen.
All right, they're going to pull back off. Look at that gold graph. 7.3K was the lead by TSM. It's going to be a Cloud Dragon picked up meanwhile for Clutch Gaming.
And the lead was so much bigger than that. When you count in the 3 Infernals, that's at least a good 5K extra in stats. Like, they have an insane lead, but they are getting pushed out. Zven has the ultimate and retreat. They're going to lose this inhibitor.
Pushing forward, Damonte has the Guardian Angel. He likes to stay on the front line here. Bjergsen from the outside. It's 36 seconds for hijack, so Sylas can steal one, but not the same person. There's still the cooldown. That's the quickness for now Bjergsen if he can get into the fight, but TSM has to get in. They lose the mid inhibitor, as we just said, and what a turnaround for this game number 2.
I mean, TSM needs to recompose themselves. They need to slow down, realize, hey, okay, we just did an enormous throw, but we still have triple Infernal. We still have a very strong hold in this game.
Yep.
This is very winnable for TSM still, despite the horrible last couple minutes. So we need to see some mental strength here out of the squad to be able to group back up and still win this game that should have been theirs.
Lira decides to sell out the Magi's. I like that choice because he hasn't actually gotten too many kills since he bought it anyways. Mercurial Scimitar now in the hands of Cody Sun as he gets a very big finished item there to keep himself safe, and Vulcan can focus on more of the fight.
I mean, Cody was like 4,500 gold behind. He is catching up, right? You know, yeah, he is still down a little bit of gold because his items are cheaper, but he's on 4 completed items. He's looking good.
Exactly. We're approaching the point in the game where you start to run out of item slots for some of these players because a lot of them are being occupied by control wards. You see Clutch members, 4 of them, picking up the double stacks. Vision's so important for these engages. Since they have all this damage stacked up, if they catch someone out in these great engages by Vulcan with the Rakan, he catches one person. That one person has been bursted.
Actually was just about to lose the quickness, he throws it down. Bjergsen will walk away and look for a new hijack once he gets the chance.
Next big objective, though, you also have to add into that mix is going to be the Elder. Baron will be up first, but the Elder amplifying not only all the burn, but those triple Infernals is so much power for TSM. So Clutch really has to make sure that TSM cannot get access to it, and it is going to be about the prep. Right now, it feels that Clutch is kind of focusing towards that Baron side of the map, and they're going to see if they can get TSM to overextend and find some sort of an engage.
And biggest thing for TSM, get the engage on their terms. They have to have Smoothie and Spica starting this fight out on the front line with that hard CC to open up one of these Clutch targets and allow their team to get the first kill in these team fights. It's going to be a lot about these two paving the way.
Teleport just about to come up for Broken Blade. Other than that, Zven's summoner heal is the only summoner discrepancy as we get into the next fight, so everybody's going to have everything they need up to perform at the top. And it looks like it could be for that Baron. 1 minute on, a few forward wards here from the side of Clutch are getting cleared out, so they're not going to see where TSM is coming from.
Huni is full build Gangplank right now. Full build carry Gangplank,
Boy.
level 18. He's been level 18 for a while, by the way. Cheers from the Clutch fans going out because he has put in so much work this game. The one lucky thing for TSM, he doesn't get stronger from this point on, so they can count their blessings there.
And they know to stay out of the jungle. They know. Oh, I was going to say they know to dodge the barrels, but that one opens up right under 4 members of TSM. They have to retreat, and Smoothie is low. Zven cannot even participate in the fight as he has to get back to the fountain.
Yeah, it's pings onto Baron. They're actually going to head straight there. It's about to spawn. Zven's Phantom Dancer did get proc, and look at the damage!
I called for this damage shot because I had a feeling that it was going to look good for Huni. I didn't think it was going to look that good.
Take it down. It's scary. It's scary. Seeing TSM come back into this one. Cannon Barrage goes down. That's going to be from Bjergsen. So Clutch has to watch out. They're able to drop Smoothie right away, but TSM is now trying to attack back onto Huni, and they will be able to get him. Damonte comes up huge there as he tries to get the kill before the Acathian Rain takes down Broken Blade. Stasis now from the Guardian Angel to come up for Damonte. What can he do before he goes down? And it's going to be up to Zven now to do the damage along with Bjergsen picking up 2 more kills. They are starting to wipe Clutch off of the Rift, and that's a double for Bjergsen.
TSM get the ace after all of that. They are able to stand tall in the mid lane, and they have Summoner's Rift all to themselves. It is over 30 seconds on every member of Clutch Gaming for the Death Timers, and they are trying to backdoor 1 minion.
Yeah,
the 1
Spica just
minion.
needs the tank. That's it. I think they can just end it here. As long as Spica just
my
holds
God.
the aggro, that hero minion, TSM's #1 player.
Protect the mid. Wait, which one was it? I didn't see which one you encircled there. We're going on to the second Nexus turret. We're going on to game 3 because that's the second victory for TSM.
Oh, these games. These games, oh my goodness. TSM are 2-0 now. Up in this series over Clutch. After an insane mid game.
Oh,
Yeah, you can say that again.
Huge early game lead there for TSM. That team fight, winning it there in the mid lane, standing tall. After Clutch had gotten the first advantage, but then Damonte flashing in further, the Guardian Angel goes down, they can't get the re-engage off. And TSM stand tall with Bjergsen and Zven finishing that one up.
and the Winion.
And the Winion!
And the Winion.
Yeah, that was, I actually can't believe that game. It looked like TSM had thrown it, but they do close it out. They're at match point.
Getting in their head, trying to send a message to give their thoughts now on the 2-0 start for TSM. Let's send it back over to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. That was starting to look pretty scary there for TSM on a game that started hot, almost threw that advantage entirely away. But here we now sit at 2-0 series score in favor of TSM. They did it, giving away one of the most powerful picks to the hands of Clutch Gaming that we have talked about all postseason long, the Gangplank.
But they had to first pick it to get it. There's a really nice gamble that TSM took in not banning Yuumi on blue side, which I really liked. We've been saying for them to try and leave it up and see if Clutch even plays it. They don't. Now they were forced to ban it on blue side. So the series is still going on. That's obviously a close series based off that game, and that will be a very useful piece of information moving forward.
And so then, of course, we have to take a look at where things actually fell within the game. How did TSM dismantle a Clutch Gaming that was sitting with what we would consider to be a fair amount of comfort picks?
It's got to be Bjergsen. The guy had a really sick Sylas game, and from the very get-go, it seemed like a lot of his teammates were setting him up for success.
Right, I think Bjergsen played extremely well this game, but honestly, when I was watching this, I have to fault Lira a lot for this game. I think his early game pathing was pretty bad, honestly, and it made it so Damonte couldn't really play the game.
I think you're fair in criticizing Lira because he has been such a pivotal member for the success of Clutch that he kind of got banned out here. Honestly, most of his wins were coming off the Skarner, the Gragas. He didn't find any wins on Sejuani, so when TSM ended up taking away 5 junglers with the first pick Sejuani, he had to drop down all the way to an Elise that he's never played in this postseason.
Right, and that basically comes back to the GP first pick. Normally they would give priority to Lira to grab one of his comfortable junglers, maybe the Jarvan there if the Skarner's banned out of the Sejuani, but they didn't get that opportunity, and then he wasn't able to snowball early. That failed dive as well as not being able to cover his mid laner. That's as bad of a start as you can basically have as an Elise player. Right, the biggest criticism for me was the fact that they actually mentioned on the cast, but he did the wolves before doing blue, and normally on Elise, you want to do 3 camps as fast as possible and then gank. Yeah. The only reason you would want to farm more is if there's just no ganks available, but in a matchup like Irelia versus Sylas, Irelia has to be all-inning him if she wants a chance at that lane. So the fact that Sejuani showed up first was a huge mistake, in my opinion.
So Bjergsen gets off to a hot start alongside the rest of TSM, but a fair amount of that gold is being held by the Sylas player for the side of the Black and Whites. But then you look at who would ultimately extend the lifetime of Clutch in this game. And of course, it does come down to Huni on the Gangplank, making some big plays to extend this game for quite some time.
Being able to use the ultimate in their side lanes, but then getting so fed that on his own, his barrels were single-handedly winning teamfight after teamfight.
Yeah, this was the first play that started turning the game around. This is when you have the 0-stack Mejai's Elise. They go all in on Huni to try and start this fight off, and they do get him, but they've used everything, and he got a lot of damage back.
When Darshan was here yesterday, he was telling us that the Aatrox matchup against GP only gets worse for the Aatrox. Remember the game where the Aatrox was just soloing out GP in the turret? But it seems like Huni is good enough to bypass that and just crush Aatrox.
Huni made GP look really overpowered.
Yeah.
And that was
Did you see his damage? It was over.
Medius. They were
more than anybody
8-1,
else
I think,
combined.
heading into this game if they got one of their 3 power picks.
Yep.
It didn't happen this time, though.
Didn't happen this time. Moved to 8-2, so a loss handed over.
Given the deficit they had, though, like 3 Infernals, however many thousands of gold, they really put up a good fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, an absolutely crazy comeback, or beginnings of what would have been a comeback for Clutch there off the the tail end of that GP. But again, when you do get to that state of the game with the triple Infernals and a majority of the turrets taken, in favor of TSM, it really only takes one final fight, one big team fight for TSM to be able to close it out. That's what they get here. 3 members will remain alive along with a single minion, and that's enough to take the base.
It's 2 fights happening on different fronts, and unfortunately, Huni, while he does get Smoothie, he gets traded out right away. And you saw this team does not exist without the Gangplank. So the second that he's out, TSM knows that they can continue this and win the game.
Right, it looked like CG's bot lane kind of jumped the gun on that one. They got a little excited for the engage, and they didn't quite track where everyone was because, they both ran off into that bottom side jungle, and then Huni was just left on his own mid, and he got jumped on by pretty much all of TSM.
Whoa, look at that chart.
Yeah, very scary for TSM.
Yeah, you heard Kobe talking about he expected to see GP chopping the charts, but not by that margin.
Yeah, really kind of that 1v9 game. But Bjergsen also had an incredible game, to be fair, to get them that lead. He had 100% KP, I think, through 15, and he was the linchpin for a lot of those plays. And that was one of the key factors in snowballing that game. Him, Broken Blade, Zven even playing well, not having a lot of the uncharacteristic mistakes he's been making in late game team situations, wasn't ever caught out of position or anything like that.
Tough position for Clutch to be in here, down 0-2, and to have lost a very hard-fought game like that. But if anything, the uplifting side of that is, hey, you were in what many were saying was an unwinnable position not 20 minutes into this game, and you made it very close. And so it's clear that you can be competitive against this TSM roster, but your margin for error is now shrinking rapidly as you have to win 3 games in a row. TSM goes back to blue side here for the 3rd game with side selection. And so a lot of what we talked about in terms of champion select, TSM seems to have landed on a bit of a formula here. Remove options from Lira. They're willing to sacrifice some of those, kind of pivotal 3 that we had talked about before in favor of limiting Lira and his playmaking abilities.
Yeah, this is really good for TSM. Having blue side, you ban the Rumble, you can get away with banning Skarner as well. And now that you know that Clutch has to ban the Yuumi on red side as well, you have so many more options. You're guaranteed to get good picks for every single role. It's looking good for them.
I'm really curious to see if Clutch is going to try to do something about the Sejuani because, Spica is like the rookie of the team. He doesn't have a whole lot of stage experience compared to all the other players out there. And Sejuani is a champion that, he's doing well on. It's hard to punish Sejuani. And I think that, they might consider banning it because TSM showed they're willing to first pick it. Or, even just set up a really good trade where they can get something.
I think you just get rid of it.
Yuumi, Sej, X. What's the X in the bans?
Probably one of the bottom laners. Probably about Sona.
Okay. Keep that Sona off the table and remove that Sejuani. We'll see if that's enough for Clutch Gaming as they have to string 3 together, back to back to back. TSM, though, they're 1 win away from booking their spot at Worlds. We'll see if Clutch can keep the series alive after this.
Lira, a sliver from going down. Smoothie's all the way from the bot lane, coast to coast. And he comes up with his 2nd kill of the game. Now Damonte's gonna go down as Bjergsen here wants to finish off a few for himself. Cody Sun a few shots back. They rip the rug right out from under him, and that's a great kill for Zven.
I can go though.
Yeah, he will have it.
Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa's dead. Rakan's dead, Jim, I think.
Nice.
TSM already have left the area. They went to the strong side.
Whoa, Damonte Vanguard's edge comes out, but it's also stolen and used against him.
They're trolling so hard. Look here, Xayah flash ult. Let's go, Cody. We can do better, I think. Luri. They're in tank. Let's go.
Damonte, what can he do before he goes down? And it's going to be up to Zven now to do the damage along with Bjergsen picking up 2 more kills. They are starting to wipe Clutch off of the rip.
I had a tournament in New York, and we got 2nd in the world. So now I've taken another leap, which is to build my own company. My goal was to help other people who want to turn streaming into a career. The biggest thing you have to realize is it's a team game.
When you're chasing greatness, just remember, it's not about what you say, it's about what you do.
You got your own car with your own insurance.
Thanks, Steph. No more driving that old hand-me-down.
Surprise!
No, I'm not gonna get a date in this.
We had a lot of great dates in this car.
No, ew.